friends, and welcome back to another video. As you can see today, I am dressed in my Monsters University varsity jacket. I do actually have the hat with me, but I just don't think I can wear this for the entire video. It looks, I don't know, I think I look like Mike Myers or something from Wayne's World, so I don't know if this is going to make it throughout the entire video, but today I thought I would do another pin board deep dive and show you all the pins we have collected so far for our Pixar collection. The reason we're doing a Pixar board for now, partly because our pin collection isn't that big for Pixar and we can't justify having lots of different boards for individual characters, shall we say, but we also just can't make up our mind which characters we want to collect. So we've got a few films on the go. Some are specifically more for Joe, some is a kind of a jewel collection, but yeah, let's get straight into it, shall we? Before I move on, actually, I just wanted to say, please grab yourself a snack, a hot drink, whatever you're doing. I know today, as I'm filming right now on the 24th of May, it is the Pinsane Somerset event. Joe and I couldn't go, unfortunately. I think Somerset for us right now is a little bit out of the way, but we hope that everybody is having a fantastic weekend if you are watching this on the evening of the Saturday. Yeah, I wish I was there, what can I say? But I can dream from a distance. I've spent my morning on my Pin Central looking at pins that I would like to collect and Joe would like to collect at the London event, so I'm kind of like living as if I'm there, but not really, you know what I mean. The best way I found to do this, I think, is just to literally have the board in front of me and I'm just going to pull up all of the different pins that we have. A lot of these are from either Vinted, eBay, Stewpins, some of our Facebook pin pals that we've now made who have very lovingly traded with us, or we have bought the pins from other collectors / traders. To give you a little rundown of the board, we currently have it on this notice board which we got from Tesco. These are about £4.50 with a club card, I believe, and I have already showed you this one from our Princess and the Frog board that we have. So we have our World of Pixar pin right in the middle. It is a spinner and we got this last year in Disneyland Paris in September. We absolutely love this. I think it was about €15, so a little bit more expensive compared to some of the other pins at Disneyland Paris. And then as you can see around it, we now have a couple of different films, or should I say a few different films, that we have dedicated to our Pixar board. I'm going to give you a close-up of that Worlds of Pixar, sorry, spinner. This was from Disneyland Paris, as I said. I'm trying to hold the middle bit, but obviously it keeps spinning. But as you can see here, we have all of our well-loved Pixar characters just on the side. It's this really beautiful, like, rich navy colour, and it's a really nice, simple pin. So I'm so glad we have that for the centerpiece of our Pixar notice board. Then we do have several Pixar ball pins, which I'm going to show you together because they're the same idea, just ever so slightly different. And these were sourced by Joe himself, and then one of these was actually from Disneyland as well. So we have the classic Pixar ball with the very famous little desk lamp who hops along the Pixar logo at the beginning. We have just the Pixar ball on its own. I believe we got this from the Stewpins website in our April haul, shall we call it? And then Joe very recently found this Pixar ball with Woody on it. This sort of goes between the two collections that we have, which is just generic Pixar pins and then our Toy Story collection. I know that this is a part of a bigger series, so this is a really nice start to the collection and we will most likely try and find all of the others. I then think I might actually start with Monsters University because it's a slightly smaller collection. I'm obviously wearing the uniform now, so it only feels right to kind of start off with a bang, shall we? So these two pins actually came in a set together and we got these pretty soon after we came back from Disneyland in September. This was one of our first proper collections that we wanted to start, but actually it's ended up being one of our smallest for now. That doesn't matter though, we've always got time to get more. So these two came as a set and it is Mike Wazowski on his first day at Monsters University and then the Monsters University hat. We then have this little pin here which is actually a little like Monsters University ID badge. This is not a Disney pin, but we did find this on eBay for incredibly cheap, so we thought we might as well just grab it as a little filler on our notice board. Then the piece de resistance on our notice board right now, and we actually got this at the Stewpins pin convention back in March, is Mike Wazowski's ID badge. Now this is an official pin. This is absolutely incredible, and the size of it is like an actual card size, and that's why it really caught our attention. You don't see many pins, I think, this size that are almost true to size of what they're replicating, so this was amazing, and the detail on it is just so cool. This was actually our first kind of couples trade, and when we walked away from it we were like, okay, that feels like a bit of a steal. And then we got quite a few compliments on it throughout the day, and people were like, that's actually a really cool pin, and we were giving ourselves a little pat on the back for getting that. I am going to show you a close-up of the next set of pins, just purely because I'm feeling a bit lazy and I don't want to pull them each out of the board. But around the Mike Wazowski card, we have all of the different fraternities around him. This did come as a set, excluding the card, of course, and it was actually very reasonably priced. On the card, it looks like a varsity jacket with all of the pins on there, and I believe I got this for about £12 maybe, and I really like that, just as a little nod to some of the other characters in the film. You know, they may not be leads and they may not have speaking parts, but they're just as important in the championships, the scare championships. Really cool there. So that's our Monsters University collection so far. It's small but mighty, and I have been on my Pin Central this morning, as I said, and I've been sort of putting ISOs on all of the Monsters University pins that I like. I think this upcoming month I want to try and get a few more. However, it's not a priority collection. I think whenever I see a cool pin, or if Joe sees a cool pin for Monsters University, we will get it, but it's sort of a little bit of a back burner collection. It's not something that we've been actively looking for. I'd actually say the next collection I'm about to show you is what we've been like really actively looking for at the minute. So yeah, let's move on. You will have to forgive me at some points as well. I'm sort of, I think, in the cusp of having either really bad hay fever or a cold, and all week I've been battling a really horrid cough and cold and all sorts, so I feel like every so often my voice sounds a bit raspy. So yeah, if I keep pausing or if it keeps cutting, it's because I'm either trying to regulate my temperature, or I'm having a drink, or my nose is suddenly blocked. So yay, the fun of going into summer. Anyway, moving on to, I think, the Toy Story collection. As a collection on our board right now, I think this looks so fun and colourful. Just to give you a little idea of what it looks like on the wall. These colours are some of my favourite. I have said this before, but I absolutely love primary colours, the blue, red and yellow together. I think they complement each other really well, and obviously Toy Story being so childlike and fun really plays on those colours. So without further ado, let's show you some Toy Story pins. We have this cast supporting pin here. Really fun pin. We have these for a couple of films and we absolutely love them. It's such a beautiful way of getting all of the cast in, or all of the supporting cast in a really fun little gimmick, and we absolutely love that. We've tried to make that a little bit of a central piece for the Toy Story corner. I will say a lot of credit goes to Joe for this collection. He, I think ever since the Stewpins event, has been really on it with collecting Toy Story. It all sort of began with a couple of pins that we got at the event. Some of them were traded for or bought, I think, and then we also did like Brian, I'm really sorry I don't know his last name, but Brian, who I think's at quite a lot of these events, he had lots of plastic boxes full of pins for kind of £4, £5, £6 or £7, and we found this pin in one of them which really caught Joe's eye. Just look at those colours. I just love it. I think it looks so bright and eye-catching, so that really kicked it off, I believe. And then there was several other, now they may not have been directly from Brian's little section, but I know that we did grab quite a few that day, so I'm just going to show you them. It really doesn't matter, I suppose, now. They are now just a part of our collection. We have a little Woody here. Let's see, he's going to be quite small. So we've got a little classic Woody here, and then this one is so cool. I love the feature of this. So this is Jessie, and you can actually move her legs like she's going yeehaw. So she's so cool. And then we have a really nice simple Buzz Lightyear. I think what we have tried to do for this collection, and when I say we, I think what Joe's been really good at in this collection is just getting a really simple pin for each character. There is some that we have here that are like really beautiful ones of like some of the cast posing together, I suppose, but a lot of these, like with this one here, it's just them as they are. They're already fun enough. We don't need to make them too gimmicky or too fun. So I really like those for kind of the lead trio. And then at the bottom here, what I might do is just show you a little zoom in of the little cast here. We've got another tiny Woody. We've got, of course, got Rex, Slinky, Ham, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, and an alien, like one of their adoptive babies. And then we also have this really beautiful pin of Jessie and Bullseye, which I absolutely love. I used to have a Jessie doll, so growing up, I was born in the late 90s and I guess grew up in the era of Toy Story, and I remember, I think I had a Buzz Lightyear. I may have had a Woody, but I don't think I did. I think I just had Buzz. And then I remember one Christmas I got a Jessie, and it was like the type of Jessie that you'd want, where you could pull the little string on her back, her hat came off and she had her lovely little braids, and yeah, absolutely loved her. Not to kind of traumatise her, I don't know where she is. I think she's currently with some other teddies with my mum and dad. It's, you know, not to replicate the film or anything, I do still love her, but she's not currently in the flat with me. Oops. We have this beautiful pin here, really nice and fun, and it just says, "You've got a friend in me," and this little ears at the top move. It's kind of on like a little latch at the back, so I'm not showing it the very best, but yeah, you get the idea. This was one that I believe Joe got from Facebook potentially. And then we also have this really cool pin here. This doesn't look like an official Disney pin from the back, or not a kind of official trading pin that people would want. However, that's perfectly fine because this is for our collection. We have Buzz Lightyear here. We also have this Toy Story Land pin here. This is maybe, I don't know actually if it's for Toy Story Land in Disneyland or in America, but either way, lovely colourful little pin there. And then we have another Toy Story Land here, but with the aliens. I think these ones are the newest ones to our collection. I'm pretty sure this could be the most recent one we got. And then we have here, is he called Forky? I think I keep calling him Sporky, but I believe he's called Forky, so we've got him here. I love, this is just a little side note, I watched Toy Story 4 recently, and I absolutely love the fact that it's Christina Hendricks who voices the, like, evil, not evil, but you know, the kind of begrudged little doll, because I used to love watching Mad Men, and she was my favourite actress in Mad Men. I thought her character was just perfection, and so when she's now this little like slightly conniving little China doll, I thought it was really funny, just because, yeah, it was perfect. Finally, within this collection, certainly on this board, we have Joe's Cars collection. Now I'll give you a little show of what's on here so far. I am very pleased to announce that Joe has managed to find a Doc Hudson pin, which he has been looking for basically since September. Doc Hudson is a really special character to him, and he just absolutely loves the storyline of the first film. I think Cars is potentially his favourite film in Disney, and so yeah, we have a Doc Hudson pin on the way, which makes my heart very warm, and I'm so glad that he gets to add that to his collection. To give you a little rundown then, we have these two Cars logo pins here. This one is a little bit more kind of thicker, and I think it's got a little bit more detail to it compared to this. However, both really beautiful pins to have as a centerpiece in the Cars corner. We've got Guido and Luigi just here. Now, Guido is my absolute favorite character in Cars. I think he is just hilarious. I absolutely love him. And them two as a partnership are just really beautiful characters. I think many people love them. We then have a beautiful pin here of Fillmore, actually, and this is probably the most detailed pin that Joe has in his collection, with the background of the filling station there. Filling station, like fueling station, and that just looks really beautiful. We then couldn't have a Cars collection, of course, without Tomater and McQueen just there as best friends, and I think that's a really beautiful pin. I think alongside Guido, Mater might be my favourite character as well. Again, I think he's probably a lot of people's favourite characters. We've got a couple of McQueen pins here which are actually very, very similar. I would say the quality of one is ever so slightly better than the other. However, I think this one is quite a bit older than this one, so you can sort of see a little bit of a difference. However, both really gorgeous pins, and I think it goes without saying you can't really have a Cars collection without McQueen featured in there somehow. I don't know. We've then got this Ka-Chow pin, which actually came, I believe, in a 30 years of pins collection, where this was obviously marked down, I believe, for 2006, and then it was the same collection that had the Wall-E pin and the Enchanted pin on it, so this was the one that Joe kept. He bought that set so he could have this particular pin, because at the Stewpins event we did see a table that had this pin. However, we just didn't have a pin to trade for it at the time, which is so fine. We just had to walk away empty-handed on that occasion, but Joe managed to find it later on. And then finally, the final few pins in Joe's Cars collection is, we have Sally here, really sweet little pin. Again, quite an old one. 2009, so actually not that old if I'm honest. 2009, but, well, maybe it is. And then we have here, is this Flo? Looking really sweet. It's like the girls are together on the board. And then finally, we've got, oh god, right, I need to get the names of this because I'm going to ruin this, but I know that you've got Chick Hicks, McQueen, and the King? Is it the King? Yeah, racing. Of course, a massive point to the first film. You can't have a pin without acknowledging those two, as much as you love to hate them. Certainly Chick Hicks. It's a fabulous pin to have on the collection. This board is one of my favourites, I think, because it's so random, I think. Even though there's clearly like designated spots for each film, every single pin is so different. Even the Cars pins, where you have a couple of McQueens, there's little features of them that make them very unique. And I think right now it's sort of quite a miscellaneous board, even though it's all quite cohesive. Do you know what I mean? Am I making any sense? I don't know. Pixar has also been one of the easier collections I've found personally to get hold of. I find certain pins either a little bit out of our price range or not that easy just to access. However, I found with Pixar, I guess because we've broadened our choices a little bit, maybe that's why it's easier, and that makes a lot more sense. I absolutely can't wait for the Pinsane London event, by the way. I'm just going to segue a little bit because, as I said, this weekend that I'm filming this particular video, the Pinsane Somerset event is happening, and I am jealous, but I don't like the idea of being jealous because I'm just happy for everyone that gets to be there. So yeah, I kind of thought if you're at the Pinsane event right now, and maybe you're at your hotel and you're watching some YouTube videos, I was kind of thinking this might just be a nice video for you to relax to, and organise some of your new pins. I would love to know what people got at the Pinsane event, but actually I will find out for myself when I go on their Instagrams and I'm stalking everyone's stories to see what pins they've got, because I'm so intrigued to see what everyone has today and what they get tomorrow. I hope the weather down there is also really good. Up in Edinburgh, we've had beautiful weather for about 3 weeks, and today, my day off from work, decides to be like a blustery, windy grey day, which is so fine because I've trapped myself in the flat and I'm going to film and I'm going to be cozy and watch a documentary, but it just feels a little bit typical, doesn't it, that all week I've been at work and it's been glorious weather. Oh well. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. If you are at the event, I would love to see what kind of things you get up to, and I can't wait to see everyone's vlogs and videos and pin photos and all sorts. Thank you so much for watching. I intend on doing a couple more kind of pin collection deep dives over the next few weeks. I am saving my Stitch collection for 626 Day. I think that makes the most sense. However, My Stitch little short that I put on YouTube has like 26,000 views now, which is so beyond what I can comprehend. So part of me is thinking like, I don't know, with the new Stitch film coming out, should I maybe do a little Stitch video? Who knows? That's for me to figure out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you all. Thank you for your continuous love and support on this channel and on Instagram and on TikTok. It's been so lovely to connect with you all, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah.